Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome in to Game Over Toronto. I'm your host, Zach Payne, and that was that game got really exciting really quick there in the third period. A very exciting finish after a pretty dull first two periods in which not much was happening aside from a very weird bounce that we'll talk about in a little bit. But welcome into the show, everyone. Make sure you like and subscribe to Game Over Toronto. And yeah, how are we doing tonight, everyone? How are we doing after that game, which, you know, after Monday's game against the Blackhawks, I talked with some people, and the consensus was that that was a game the Leafs would traditionally lose in past years, right? You know, you have a bad team coming into Toronto, you're feeling good, and then letdown game. And this had all the same makings of a letdown game, right? Where the Leafs, you know, they're first in the division, they're trying to strengthen their hold on the division lead, and the Predators are bad. They're very bad. And, you know, I'll talk about that too. But despite a very kind of, it wasn't even a slow start per se. It was just kind of a dull game in general, that where not much was happening on either side of the ice. And then the third period starts, and Austin Matthews and Mitch-Marner, both of them, just take over the game. Instantly, the Leafs get 3 goals in like 5 minutes and just kind of coast the rest of the way. Matthews had several chances at a hat trick. And, you know, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. Come here. I need to start the show off with an apology, okay? I need to apologize for something I said in the past that I was wrong, okay? And it's okay. You need to be able to admit when you're wrong. I was wrong for saying Austin Matthews and Mitch-Marner cannot play together because, dude, I'm speechless. Sometimes the plays that these two can make genuinely just are so spectacular that you literally can do nothing but bear witness if you're on the other team. You can't do anything. What are you going to do when these two are playing at that level that they were in the third period? It was unbelievable. And now, Mitch-Marner, I will talk about a little bit later, because I think this might have been his best game of the season. And he's had a lot of good games this season. But, you know, for all of us that have been watching the Leafs over the last however many games, and we're just like, man, the 5-on-5 offense isn't there. Just wait till Matthews comes back. Wait till Matthews comes back. And as Luke points out in the chat, El Papitan is here and he wants his Rocket back. And you know what? Maybe. I said, I was talking to some friends about this. Austin Matthews still has every opportunity to win the Rocket Richard this year, presuming he can be within 5 to 7 goals by the start of the new year, by mid-January. If he can work the Leafs have a lot of games in December. If he can work his way back into striking distance by the middle of January, there is a decent chance that he could win the Rocket, because nobody scores like this guy. At the rate that he scores goals, it's impossible, dude. He scores against the Blackhawks on Monday, and you're thinking, great, Matthews gets a goal, he's back. And then tonight, he just got, start of the third period, bang, bang. Just like that. 2 quick goals. And the second one, that second goal, disgusting. Disgusting. Mitch-Marner drops the puck back. Matthews hits just a nasty toe drag. UC Saros, as he panics, tries to poke check, right? Goes for the poke check. And Matthews just with the faintest little touch to slide the puck 5-hole. Absolutely disgusting. And he almost had an even nastier goal later, and to potentially be a hat trick goal. Matthews was just on one tonight, especially in the third period. He hit the post early in the game off a Nylander pass. But this is what we were hoping for, right? When Austin Matthews got hurt, and then proceeded to go to Germany, and we were all like, oh, what's going on with Austin Matthews? The messaging around it was Matthews is trying to make sure that this injury won't be a problem anymore. It had been bothering him since the preseason. He never quite felt right. He wanted to just take some time to get back to his normal dominant self. Yeah, we found it. We found it, all right. This is the Austin Matthews that we saw last year. This is the Austin Matthews that is a multi-60 goal scorer. This is the Austin Matthews that, if healthy the rest of the way, is a shoe-in for 50, at least, right? You have a bit of a slow start, whatever. You miss a handful of, I think it was 9 games he missed. If Matthews is playing at this level the rest of the season, he's at least scoring 50. He has 8 already. The Leafs have 50 some odd games left. You telling me he can't get 42 more? Come on now. And everyone should know better than to bet against Austin Matthews goal totals, because he's the best goal scorer in the league, man. He's the best goal scorer in the league. So let's get some Austin Matthews appreciation in the chat going, because our savior is back. Poppy is back, and he's looking as good as he ever has. Now, as far as the combination with Mitch Marner, this is what you need from them, right? Like, look, I do apologize, because I said that combination cannot be a thing when Matthews comes back. 2.5 games later, it's a thing again, right? But the rationale is that these are your 2 best players. If you spread them out, you have 2 first lines, basically, right? You have 2 first lines. When you put them together, it's more clearly a top line, a second line, and then you have your bottom 6, whatever. But the counter argument is, if they do play together, right? If they want to stay together, they have to dominate. They have to take over games. They have to be the reason the Leafs are winning. That game, that was those 2 taking over the game, saying, we are winning this game, and there's nothing you can do about it. Because there isn't. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? That first goal, puck rings around, and Marner just fires Matthews, bang, boom. Like, bing, bang, boom. There's nothing you can do. It happens so quick. And if you're a goaltender, like, what do you do? Like, throw your whole body in the passing lane, I guess? Because when Matthews is alone in front, or anywhere around the net in general, Mitch Marner's going to find him. And if Matthews is healthy, he's going to, hit the net on those shots, and they're going to go in a majority of the time. There's nothing you can do when they're playing at this level. So, I talked about Matthews. Now, to transition to Mitch Marner, I don't know what happened over the last month and a bit. Mitch Marner it seems like he's taken another step. And I didn't think that was possible. Although, to be fair, Matthews and Nylander both took a step last year. So Marner's step happened this year, where he really just looks so dominant every night. And, I could talk about a number of things, right? I could talk about the first pass to Matthews for the goal. I could talk about the nifty little drop pass on the second goal. I could talk about how he sent it down to Matthew Nyes on the power play for his 3rd assist. 3 assists in about 5 minutes, by the way. It's pretty good. Any player that could get 3 assists, 2 of them primary, in a 5-minute stretch, yeah, that's a pretty good player. But it's the other stuff, right? He draws a penalty because he's flying through the air to drop pass to Morgan Riley. And that was one of the wildest plays of the night in a game full of them, where Marner is like stick handling in a phone booth, gets tripped, does a Bobby Orr dive, passes it back to Riley, draws a penalty, and the Leafs get a scoring chance off of it because of that great work. My favorite moment of the night from Marner, though, was the Leafs. It was after the 5-on-3 goal, so it's 3-1 at this point. Predators get a chance, and they get a chance on that, and Joseph Woll makes a save. Predators player takes a whack at Woll, trying to see if the puck is loose, whatever. And one of the if you've ever played hockey, or if you've all hockey fans know that your team's goalie, that's a big no-no. Don't touch my goalie, right? do not touch my goalie. Of all players, it was Mitch Marner that took the guy, picked him up, shoved him against the wall, and kept giving him little jabs and said, don't touch my goalie. Like, don't you effing touch my goalie. That was my favorite. Because when has Mitch Marner ever been in a scrum? And to go deeper than that, when has Mitch Marner started a scrum in his professional life, at least, maybe as a kid? That was the most, like, that was the shining, like, ray of light, providing hope for me that maybe this is different. Now, of course, we won't know, and yeah, at least first round, same core, same whatever. But Mitch Marner being willing to stand up for not only himself, but his teammates and his goalie, that is a Mitch Marner I want to see more of. I want to see more of that. I want to see Mitch Marner, get angry, tap into that angry bone in his body. Because how many times over the years does Mitch Marner get frustrated and he kind of takes it out on himself, he slams the stick, whatever? No. If something goes wrong, take it out on the other team. Take it out on them, right? And it was so encouraging to see that from Marner. So if this is the version of Matthews and Marner we're going to get, and Matthew Nyes had a beautiful assist of his own, right? Spinorama back pass under a Predators defender right to William Nylander, who easiest power play goal he'll ever score. Like 16th of the year, by the way, for Nylander. He's tied with, was it Point, Caulfield, and Kaprizov now with 16? Nylander's going to score 50 this year, at this rate, at least. Like, that is just the prospect of Nyes playing as well as he has with 60 goal scorer Austin Matthews and whatever, like 110 point Mitch Marner. That's the best line. You guys in the chat can tell me, do you know a better line in hockey than that? And like, look, I know these guys were together early in the season, but it wasn't the same, right? It wasn't the same. We can all recognize that. Matthews wasn't quite his dominant self. Marner looked just bad. Not bad, but like he just looked so average, right? It looked like playoff Mitch Marner. Nyes was awesome, but he couldn't make up for the other two. Now that Marner is playing the best hockey he has ever played, and Austin Matthews is back to playing at the level that he set for himself last year, which was the best hockey he ever played. That version of this line is what you need. If you're going to put them together, you need that, right? You need the type of line that can take over a game. So, Luke points out in the chat, like, can we keep them separate, but put them together when you need to combine their powers like Captain Planet? Like, I don't hate that idea, because the thing is, Nylander and Matthews looked really good, right? I was worried when Nylander and Matthews got put together, because while Nylander and Marner are both puck dominant players, Nylander is a lot more like when it's his line kind of feel, like when Marner and Matthews play together, it's Marner and Matthews. Oh, Marner the playmaker, Matthews the scorer. When Nylander's on a line, it's like, oh, William Nylander's on the ice. He might do something special, right? And he's puck dominant in a different way. I'm kind of dancing around calling him selfish, because that's not what I mean. But what I mean is, like, Nylander is the one that usually is making the plays when he's on the ice, right? And I thought that it would be like recent history, past iterations of the Nylander-Matthews combo, where, as Sheldon Keefe put it, either last year or 2 years ago, I forget, they're both great players, but they're just two players that are playing great and happen to be on the ice together. They're not really playing great together. Tonight, they looked like they were playing good together. On Monday, they were playing good together. I didn't have a problem with it. And if you want to go that way, if you want to have, Nyes, Matthews, Nylander, and if you get down by a goal or two and you need one desperately, okay, yeah, Marner can go up there. Now, what I will caution with that idea, I never want to see a Nylander, Matthews, Marner line in my life unless it's a power play or 6-on-5 at the end of the game. Or I guess 6-and-5 in general, because that means delayed penalty, or like You know what I mean, right? If I ever see a Nylander Matthews-Marner line, and it like as a regular line for a game, I'm gonna rip some hair out because that will not work. It won't work. That's too many puck dominant players on the ice at one time. Too many guys that it just won't work. And you'd also completely kill your depth. So that's my only caution against that idea. But aside from that, I'm perfectly comfortable with the idea that Luke mentions. So with that being said, I do want to, that was a very long first segment, very long ramble. Let me know what you think of Matthews and Marner in the chat. Again, remember to hit like and subscribe to Game Over Toronto. If you're listening on a podcasting platform, make sure you follow the show. Now I'm going to transition us into our second segment. Now, hopefully the audio doesn't glitch out this time. You guys will have to tell me. And as I do, you're going to see the merch come onto the screen. This is the Game Over Toronto merch. We have merch for every Canadian market. I'm wearing the skater hoodie right now. It's very comfortable, very, very nice, you know. I will say, if you're thinking about ordering some merch, I would recommend going a size up. It's a little bit of a tight fit. You know, I prefer a baggy hoodie, so I got an XL, and it's a little loose. It's not quite as loose as a XL normally is on me, but yeah, that's my only thing. But it's very good merch. And if you want to support Game Over, just the Game Over Network in general, go check out our merch, thegameovernetwork.com. You have the QR code on screen as well. Now, this second segment, this is going to be very, very loose and not like, I don't really have a core thing I want to focus on, aside from the fact that the Leafs just really turned it on in the third period. And the Leafs are finding ways to win games that they usually wouldn't. And I think that's worth noting for a couple reasons. One, the Leafs have always struggled against bad teams. And like, the Predators, they're bad. They're bad. I'm sorry, but Nashville is not good. I don't like, it's been a thing across sports for years and years and years and years. You don't win a championship, or you don't win anything in free agency, right? Now, Nashville, they looked at last year, they said, hey, you know what? We kind of surprised. We made the playoffs. We gave Vancouver a run for their money. All we need is some more scoring, right? The defense and goaltending is there. We need scoring. And Nashville said, hey, let's go get a bunch of scoring in free agency. Steven Stamkos, Jonathan Marchessault, Brady Shea, the works. It has not worked at all. At all. Nashville's lost 5 in a row now. They might be cooked. Trotz might need to move up the timeline on this rebuild, dude. Now, that might work out to the Leafs' advantage because there are a number of trade targets if we're looking forward, looking forward to the trade deadline. Nashville has some interesting options that the Leafs will be interesting options that the Leafs will be interesting in, like duh. But Ryan O'Reilly does not have a no-move clause, for example. I love Carrier, however you pronounce it. Love him. He was playing with Yossi tonight. Very good, very solid right-handed defenseman. If you want to try to get Morgan Rielly another partner, since Tanev is now on a shutdown pair of his own. But yeah, Nashville's bad. So to bring it back to the Leafs, sorry, I got off on a tangent. To bring it back to the Leafs, the Leafs would always lose games against bad teams in the past. And, it's not like they've been flawless against bad teams. Some of the same signs have been there. There's one key difference. What is the main difference between this Leafs team and the Leafs teams of the past, what'd you guys reckon, 7 years of losing games that they shouldn't to bad teams? It's goaltending. It's goaltending. And like the Leafs' defensive structure, I've talked about it extensively this season, is very solid. But the goalies still play a part in that. And Joseph Woll and Anthony Stolarz are just, there are legitimate TSN, overdrive, whatever, conversations happening. Are Anthony Stolarz and Joseph Woll the best goaltending tandem in the league? I mean, I don't know. When I hear that, I'm like, well, no, their numbers are a little inflated by the Leafs defensive system. But I was thinking about it, I'm like, who really has a better tandem though? Like like individual goalies. Yeah, you like there's better goalies than them in the league. Allmark and Swayman aren't together anymore. So how many teams have the luxury to just go back and forth? Like I know we struggle with Wool's health here in Toronto. It's been a thing. But as long as he's healthy and as long as Stolarz is healthy, this is a solid setup. Where, Stolarz plays Monday, looks really good. Wool plays tonight, looks really good. You're going to roll into Friday against the Capitals. Stolarz will probably play that one. Wool will play Saturday against the Penguins. No matter who plays, it doesn't matter. You're never going to go into a game and be like, oh, the backup's in net, we have a worse chance tonight. Both goalies are good. Every game, you have a good chance to win because of your goaltending. And, this is just going to turn into an apology, like just an hour-long apology. I might have been wrong about the goaltending too. I said that the goaltending was good, not great, and it was being inflated by the Leafs defense. It's better than good. It's better than good. I still believe that the Leafs defense is very the system is goaltender friendly, but man, the goaltenders are so good, dude. And I love Joseph Woll. I've been a massive Joseph Woll fan going back to his Boston College days. For those, I remember, this is gonna be a callback for you guys, but years ago, this might have been 2018, 19. I think it was TSN, might have been Drager, might have been Bob McKenzie. Someone put together a list of the Leafs' top 5 prospects. And Ian Scott, who was a very good goaltending prospect, was on it. And I remember looking at that and being like, where's Joseph Woll? So just that's a little bit. I'm not going to pretend like I expected this, but just a little bit of vindication for me personally. I loved Woll as a prospect, and I really love him as a Leafs goalie now. The thing that stands out the most about Joseph Woll, we talk about what makes them so good, him and Stolarz. Now, Stolarz is just so big. He's never out of a play. He's got the athleticism. Rebound control, little sketchy. Joseph Woll, he's got the athleticism. He's got the technique. But what makes Joseph Woll so good and has the potential to be elite, like Joseph Woll has legit top 5, top 3 potential. He is so good in and around the net and in tight spaces. Like, how many jam plays did the Predators have tonight that looked sketchy, but Woll just stayed with it? I know there was at least, there was one, would have been the second period, where the shot comes through, Woll overplays to his blocker side because it takes a weird hop. It's a wraparound, and he's able to get across, stuff it, and then the puck just kind of sits in the middle of the crease, and he just makes himself perfectly flat on the goal line with his pads, keeps it out. Nyquist had a few jam plays in the third. Like, he's just so good in and around the crease. He can get beat from outside. Yeah, any goalie can get beat by a good shot, but in and around the net, he's so good. He's so just aware of his own positioning and just where to place himself relative to the puck. And, he can read the play very well as well. Very well as well. That's a funny sentence. Now, the goals tonight that went in were just weird. We can all agree on that. The first goal, puck gets dumped in, hits the boards, bounces up in the air. No one knows where it is except for Jonathan Marchessault. And of course the puck is going to drop basically on the goal line. Like, what? It's just such a weird bounce that you're not going to see ever. Have we seen, you got 7 people in the chat. Everyone watching right now, help me out. Have you seen a weirder goal in the NHL this year than that? Where the puck is bouncing off the boards up in the air and lands perfectly on the goal line for the player to come in and smack it in? Have we seen a weirder goal than that? I don't know. Brian BOTF, the Leafs absolutely deserve that win. This is the worst Predators team I've covered in 5 years by a large margin. That's a scathing. And look, the Predators have always been pretty good, right? That's the thing. The Predators have traditionally been a pretty good franchise. I don't know when the last time they were this bad is. I don't know, honestly. Like, going back, because, you go back, they've always had good goaltending, and that usually is enough to elevate you to at least mediocrity. You have Rene, you go from Rene to Saros. So it's, I don't know, man. I don't know. The Predators are a weird team. And as much as I like, because everyone looked at their free agency moves and were like, wow, those are some good moves. I don't know. Maybe it's a cautionary tale. Don't overinvest in free agency. You build through the draft. But yeah, going back to Wool. So the first goal happens, bounce off the boards, whatever. Really weird goal, not his fault. The second goal is just unfortunate, where, first of all the Leafs kind of got caught puck watching, Matthews included. Matthews deserves a bit of criticism for this, where he's just kind of floating around. Shot gets blocked, deflects right to a Predators player, and the shot hits the post, and Wool, as he's desperately trying to get over, accidentally kicks it backwards into his own net. What are you going to do? Like, if the Leafs were going to allow 2 goals in this game, though, I don't know how anyone can look at those goals and be like, Wool, that can't go in. Wool has to save that. Like, it's unfortunate. Like, I don't know. It is what it is. So, Leafs win. Was it I don't know if it was 3-2 or 4-2. Did they count that? Yeah, it was 3-2. I was going to say, because Tavares put it in the empty net as the game ended. But, yeah, very weird game for the goals against. The goals for, just elite players making elite plays. The Leafs now have a 2-point lead on Florida in the division with a game in hand. They have 3 points on Boston with 3 games in hand. How has Boston played so many games? That's weird to me. That's weird. Boston's played 28 already. I think New Jersey has as well. I don't know why some teams are playing so much, but I guess Toronto will catch up soon. Right. So anyways, if anyone has any thoughts or comments on the game, feel free to leave them in the chat. I'm going to transition us into our third period now. And because, I don't know, this game is rather cut and dry, to me at least. Bad team, good team. Elite players made elite plays. Bad team tried to come back, couldn't. I don't know. Like, at the end of the day, it's pretty cut and dry. So, this third segment, there has been some NHL news that's come out in the last few days, right? The rosters for the Four Nations Cup are out. Now, bear with me. I'm going to pull these up because I think it's an interesting discussion, right? I think it's an interesting discussion. Now, first of all, Sportsnet. This is like at everyone at Sportsnet. I know that you guys hate like the idea of coming off as bias, right? Like there's such a fear of being perceived as bias. So they counteract that with specific type of coverage. Not featuring John Tavares on the snubbed list is hilarious, dude. Hilarious that they didn't put him on the snubbed list. Like, did he deserve to make Team Canada? He was definitely an honorable mention, though. Like, come on, man. That's just, come on. Bad journalism by Sportsnet. So let's rattle through Team Canada first, because the bottom 6 has caused a lot of discussion. So to start with, Sidney Crosby, obviously, Connor McDavid, obviously, Mitch Marner, Braden Point, Brad Marchand, Nathan McKinnon, Sam Reinhart, off to a great start, Mark Stone. Defense, Cale Makar, Josh Morrissey, Colton Parayko, Alex Pietrangelo, Travis Sanheim, Shea Theodore, Devon Taves. Goaltenders, Bennington, Hill, Montembeault. The forwards that are causing some controversy, though, well, the forward, I should say. Sam Bennett makes Team Canada over the likes of John Tavares, Mark Scheifele, Matt Barzal. There are plenty of more skilled players. And they also have Brandon Hagel, Seth Jarvis, who I like, Travis Konechny. So Team Canada has some interesting bottom 6 names on it. And look, Yeah, this is a weird one. This is a weird one because if this were a double IHF, actually maybe it is actually, I don't even know. But I know the double IHF and the Olympic Committee, when it comes to international tournaments, typically fighting and grit and all that, you kind of need to shy away from, because fighting is like, I'm pretty sure it's just not allowed. You get kicked out of the game or something in Olympics. And typically, you just want to build the best roster possible. So why is Sam Bennett here? Why are we emphasizing grit? What? Why is that our priority here? Like what? Canada is supposed to be, this is the only sport where we are the best, right? You talk about every international tournament. This is the only one where in hockey, the Leafs are, or Leafs, I saw a comment and it made me think of the Leafs. Canada is consistently the best. So why are we not putting our best players on Team Canada? Now, Oilers fans are pissed about Evan Bouchard being left off. And I, for one, love it. Because you do not need Evan Bouchard. You do not need an all offense, no defense type of defenseman. But so that I'm fine with. But man, that bottom six for Canada, certainly not the like dominant Team Canada you're used to. I don't know. What do you guys think? Thoughts on Reeves being back? Should he stay in the lineup? No, Luke. No. Did you see anything from Reeves? Did you notice him at all? He had like one breakout pass or something. He was bad, dude. He's not good. I'm sorry. Alex Nylander is at least fun. I don't know if he's good either, but Reeves is not it. Reeves is just not it, dude. And I don't know why they keep doing this song and dance about, oh, we need to have the toughness, the grit, so that we need the deterrent in there. Why? Why? What has happened in the last 5 games that he's been gone to suggest that you need Ryan Reeves? The Leafs have been winning. And they win tonight, but like the Leafs are playing great without Ryan Reeves. Why are you making your team worse? Like why? I noticed when he fought to not take the face off and make Gurbenkin take it and he lost. Yep. Love Gurbenkin, though. No Gurbenkin slander will be tolerated. Like, okay, if the playoffs were starting today, and the Leafs were healthy, I am a million times out of a million, I am choosing Nikita Gurbenkin over Ryan Reeves. Gurbenkin is sick because not only is he tough and he hits people and he likes to fight, he likes to get after it, but he's also responsible defensively. He's got a little bit of agility. He's got a little bit of tenacity on the forecheck and a little bit more maneuverability. He's not fast or fleet of foot by any means, but he's better at it than Ryan Reeves. Plus, he's a young kid who's getting better. So who knows? Maybe he'll surprise you. Max Pacioretty will be back soon. Do not hold out hope. Like a hardstyle / raw style lover. That's a great name. Don't hold out hope. Pacioretty is going to be out probably another month at least. Domi will be back soon, which nervous laughter. Like, I don't know. Pacioretty, he'll be back at some point. He'll be back when you need him, which is, later in the year, playoffs. Bobby McMahon will return before Pacioretty. When McMahon comes back, that's going to be fun because that means Pontus Holmberg can get out of my top 6. Get out of my top 6. Fraser Minton, bless his heart, not a top 6 player. Third line center, I can get behind that. You give me a line of, Robertson, Minton, and I didn't think this through. Put Gurbenkin in there. Who cares? And then you do, let's say you keep Knies, Matthews-Marner, McMahon, Tavares, Nylander, Robertson, Minton, Gurbenkin, Lorentz, Dewar. Who cares? Like 4th line, LOL. Or I guess Domi's coming back too. Shoot. So maybe you do same top 6, Robertson, Minton, Domi. Oh, that'd be in, You want to talk about all gas, no brakes. That, if you put Robertson, Minton, and Domi on a line, that would be the ultimate, like, we are going to average 2 expected goals per 60, and we are going to give up 3 expected goals per 60. But hey, maybe we'll be more efficient with our shots. Well, Domi won't, but Robertson might. Love Minton, though. Minton, I'm so comfortable with Minton being the third line center until the trade deadline. In the playoffs, if a center gets hurt, he's your first call up. But if you go into the playoffs and Minton is your 5th center, so that if a top 9 guy gets hurt, you slide Minton into the 3C role, that I can get behind that. That'd be cool. Robertson, we'll see. He looked really good tonight, though, eh? How about Nick Robertson? Like, I don't know if you guys noticed it. In the first period, especially, he was buzzing. He was dangling people. He was taking it to the net. There was a rep in the, was the second period? No, third. At one point, Robertson had a play, it might have been the first, actually, where a Predators player had it, and Robertson just hounding. The Predators were calling for a penalty. It was like 5, 6, 7 seconds of just straight stick lifts until he got that puck. Like, it was great. Love that game from Robertson. Josh in the chat saying, love the show, brother. Hey, love you too, man. Interested to hear your thoughts on AM34. It seems like he is just getting filthier and filthier. So yeah, the thing with Matthews is when he is like on and truly on his game, that's when the dangles come out. You know, like Matthews at his core, he plays the game the right way. He does, but cliche. And then once he's really feeling it, that's when the dangles come out. So he scores the first goal. Okay, we got a goal. We're back in the game. It's a tie game. And then he's like, okay, I scored 1. Let's see if I can get another. And then does a filthy toe drag, scores a second one. He has another toe drag or play between the legs, dangle, whatever. Almost scores a third one. Like, that's what, as the confidence grows, the creativity grows with it. So with a guy like Marner or Nylander, well, more so Nylander with this one, who's always confident, he will do very nice, edge work and skating, dangling throughout the game. Marner and Matthews, it's a lot more, I guess Marner fits more into this category of they need to be feeling it, right? Nylander will try that stuff regardless. Marner and Matthews need to feel confident. So what you saw tonight, that was confident Matthews. And I liked what I saw. And I'm clearly you did too, Josh. Like, it's a very fun thing to watch. It's very fun to watch. So, like Matthews, he's got all the skill in the world. And I love when he experiments with it. Is only a matter of time. I don't know how he has not scored a Michigan yet. If you want to, here's a very out of the box prediction. It's not like that bold, but kind of an obscure prediction. Austin Matthews is going to score a Michigan this year. Book it. Matthews is scoring a Michigan this year. And if that happens, you owe me a subscription. Subscribe to Game Over Toronto if that happens, and you have to tell people about the show. You should like and subscribe to Game Over Toronto anyways. If Matthews gets a Michigan, you have to go find someone else to subscribe to the show. I'll make that deal with you guys. All right, so just shake on that. Aside from that, I don't know. Do you guys have any other thoughts? I'll just transition us into our 4th segment, honestly. I'll put us in overtime. So if you have any questions about this game or about the Leafs in general, players on the team, line comedy, anything, any question you can think of, it doesn't even have to be hockey related, throw it in the chat. Reminder to hit like and subscribe to Game Over Toronto. I know I just harped on you for like 20 seconds there, but I'll tell you again. And as you guys are thinking of your questions, I will just remind you to, first of all, check out all of the Game Over channels. We have Game Over Network channels for every Canadian market. We also have the main Game Over Network hub. That's where the Game On hockey show happens, and also where Hyperdrive Hockey happens. And Hyperdrive Hockey is the flagship show of the Game Over Network. You can find it every Tuesday and Friday, I believe, on the Game Over Network YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. Man, I am not good at speaking fast. wherever you get your podcasts. Check out Hyperdrive Hockey. It's a great show. On Friday shows, they do a segment called Sorry Not Sorry, kind of making fun of, how us Canadians, we say sorry after everything. It's our debate segment where, you present an opinion and you say sorry, not sorry. So go check it out. Best coffee in Toronto? Luke, I am so sorry. I don't live in Toronto. I cannot answer that. That's an unfortunate one, because not only do I not live in Toronto, I also don't like coffee. I am the wrong person to ask, brother. I'm so sorry. You can ask Dominic and Lauren when they're on the show next. But yeah, sorry, wrong person to ask. In the meantime, if you guys have any last second questions, make sure you drop them in the chat. If you don't, then that'll make my life easy, and we can just kind of shut this down. Real quick, I guess I'll yap for another minute or two, just about I know I keep bringing it up, but the Atlantic Division is so winnable this year. Hey. Like, if there was ever a year for the Leafs to win it, the Leafs are now 16-7-2. They have 34 points in 25 games. Let's do some quick math. 34 points in 25 games on an 82-game pace is 111 points. On pace for 111 points. That's pretty darn good, if I do say so myself. And if we look at, some other highlights, William Nylander, I mentioned, has his 16th goal of the season. He's now tied for third in the league. Matthews-Marner had 3 more points tonight, which means he is tied for fourth in points. So the Leafs wingers are getting after it. They're really getting after it. The Marner, I think he's on pace for 110 points. Nylander on pace for 50 some odd goals. That'll do. Nylander... Let's do some more quick math. Nylander is 16 in 25 games? Let's do some math. William Nylander is on pace for 52 goals. Yep, that'll do. If Nylander scores 52, man, I don't know. I'll do something. Jump for joy. Any last second questions? This is the time. Last chance. Put your questions in the chat. In the meantime, again, thank you so much for joining me in this post-game stream. Make sure you like the stream, the video if you're watching after the fact. Subscribe to Game Over Toronto. Follow the show on podcasting platforms, wherever you get your podcasts. And you can find me on Twitter and Bluesky at Zach Payne 41. Not very active on Bluesky, but you can still give me a follow. I'll make sure I say hi. Aside from that, the Leafs posted the belt pick, Marner, Tavares, Matthews, and Grabenkin with the quote, "It's business, no problem." First of all, how you doing, Lauren? That's awesome. That is just awesome, dude. I'm going to see if I can... Can I pull this up? I can't pull it up on stream. But for everyone watching at home, that's awesome. That is awesome. I love this team sometimes, man. I love this team. So anyways, thank you so much for tuning in to Game Over Toronto. Again, great stream. Love you all. Love interacting with you guys in the chat. We'll see you next time. You can catch... I don't know who's doing the stream on Friday. It's either Dominic or Lauren. You can catch Dominic or Lauren or both. I don't know. On Friday. And when the Leafs play the Capitals. In the meantime, I'll stop my yapping. Thank you so much for watching. Love you guys. See you next time.